But if I'm trying to sell this to somebody, I don't know if my arguments are that good anymore, and I can understand if someone gets in the new one, why they wouldn't probably buy the older one. Howdy, welcome back to the oh man, start that again. Howdy, welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. My name is Troy, and this is the last video I'm going to do for this year. And of course, it's not a Land Rover, it's a Lexus. This is probably not why you watch this channel. So if you're new to the channel, I mostly talk about Land Rover and Range Rover products, mostly because they're kind of cheap, affordable, they're fun to play with, there's a community around it, and you know, we mix things up a little bit. We find some interesting, you know, maybe less models, talk about them, break them, and fix them. But I also do have a background in Toyotas. I had a 2003 V8 4Runner and the 100 Series Land Cruiser, and I've reviewed and spoke about my opinions on most of those vehicles channel. But again, what I mainly focus on is kind of enthusiast-based options of various different types of vehicles from the $10,000 to $20,000 range. And in that said, most of the people that shop in those categories have in their head what they would buy if they had the money, you know, to get the new option of something, to put all your DIY fix-it problems and everything that actually creates content, which is mostly problems, aside for something kind of boring and reliable. And I think this might be what most of the viewership or the overall general public might have in mind when they think of what that would be. And it's a 2023 or 2024, it doesn't really matter, last edition GX 460. And yeah, let's talk about it. So if this was a Chrysler Dodge products, you would call it the last call edition, right? It is the last of the V8 powered body on frame, you know, 4x4s offered from Toyota with the V8 in this old platform that I don't care if it's changed, has been around probably since I was in middle school, so 2002, 2003. And it's wild because I owned a 2003, granted the 4Runner with the V8. It's the same car, which is fine. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but it really is the same. And here it is, right? If you were going to buy one and you're a tried and true old school V8 powered, you know, this is the best, most reliable, highest engineered thing. Before they stopped making them, this is the one. This is the one that everyone was buying before they went to the 24s with the twin turbo V6 and all that, blah, blah, which whole different thing, a whole bunch of content on. But let's talk about this one, right? This is the one that, let's say you had the money to buy right now. You were a Toyota Lexus fan, and you wanted the most reliable, longest lasting, last of the greats version of the car. This was what you probably say to buy, mostly because the Land Cruiser really wasn't offered in those model years either. So this is what you're left with it. So let's jump. So a little bit of personal background with this one. The funny thing is my father, when he traded in his SQ7 Audi, done a few videos on that, a few months ago, my brother works at a Lexus dealership, found and acquired a RX 350 for him, a purchase that I've driven it. It doesn't drive all that amazing. It's a car, it's got a CVT, it's a hybrid. The interior is fine, it's all just fine, but my comment has always been like, well, you should have just got this, the last gen GX with the V8 with 4x4 and little range. You get to the cabin and put stuff in and be comfortable and, you know, have something that'll last you 15 years, right? And oddly enough, now that I'm in possession of it, because believe it or not, the Camry RX is at the dealership with some issues with the cooled seats. Yeah, again, these are first world problems, but this is the loaner car, and I was kind of excited that he was driving because I was like, you can finally experience what you should have bought. I told you so. How good is it? And, you know, that wasn't, his reaction was not what I was expecting. So he said, it drives like a truck. I don't like it. And I was like, yeah, I know that. It's a big, it's not big, actually. That'll be the next thing we talk about. You know, body on frame SUV, it's not exactly the kind of very unibodied hybrid car-based zippy, it's not really that zippy, hybrid 4-cylinder, non-turbo, it's not even turbo, that he came from. So I said, let me jump in this thing and check it out, and here we are. And here it is, right? It's got the same, I don't know, 17 or 18 inch wheels, the massive Lexus front, which, yeah, you know, whatever, it's fine. The classic Lexus rear tail lights that are all Zera, I don't remember what they're called. And that's really about it. It's got running boards and black wheels. It's black on black, all the things. And you know, it's not really speaking to me. But that's not what that's not the point, I guess. I mean, here's the exercise, right? I'm approaching this as if I am going to buy it for my wife and kids. Again, let's cosplay. I had the money, let's buy it. Let's get the best, most interesting thing that fits the kind of things I like to do. I need to go to the cabin, I need low range, I need space for car seats, I need other things like that, you know, pack and place, you know, all that fun stuff now. And I like a little V8 grumble, I like the reliability factor and all that of it. But how's the rest of it? Do I feel like I'm getting I don't know what this was probably 70 grand plus, maybe, you know, into that higher range. It might have been a little bit less, I'm not sure when. This one's a loaner, I'm not sure. But here's what kind of gets me with these cars. 6'1", and I sold my fourth gen 4Runner V8 for the reason that I could never get comfortable in it because the inside is not that roomy. And I know they make bigger cars for that purpose, but I'm 6'1", 6'2", and my head is almost hitting the ceiling. Now, I like a short dash and a flat windshield as much as anyone else. It does have the grab handles and all that, but it feels like a kid's car in here. It feels very narrow and very cramped on the inside, and that's probably because it is. You sit up a little bit higher, I think, than the Tacoma-ish, 4Runner-ish from almost 20 years ago that I had. And in the interior, this is fine, but I don't, it doesn't really speak to me. I feel like I'm a little boy, a little kid's car. It's cute. And that's not really, well, it doesn't really speak to me, at least for the money. Now let's get in here. Again, all of this is fine. It's comfortable, right? It's I don't want to say cramped, but it's not spacious. And I know there's other models that fulfill that better, but I can see why this platform kind of dried up. The windshield is a slit. It's not a whole lot of visibility. It's not terrible, but again, I'm seeing why my dad driving this kind of spurred the thought process of why is this not better than what he has. Fire it up. Okay, you've got kind of screens from the early 2010s, it looks like. All of that. Here's the other thing, put it in reverse. Yeah, the backup camera quality, I mean, my 2014 BMWs are probably 15 times better. That is horrible. And I'm not one to complain about tech, but if I am the consumer spending the money. I mean, Toyota Lexus has always been behind with this stuff. Yeah, maybe it'll work forever. People aren't buying cars to keep forever, so let's a little bit of attention to detail for these type of things. If I had a passenger, we'd be probably much touching arms. Back seats, let's see if I can kind of sit behind myself. So yeah, I can sit behind myself. It's good rear seat legroom-ish. I'm not sure what a car seat would do here, but it's not, I don't sit in this thing going, yeah, this is what I want to spend a bunch of money on and keep forever in that regard. I mean, this is like a couple, or a retired couple, or a single person. It's kind of tough to do the full kids thing, especially with the smaller back seat and everything. I guess I do have a little more headroom with the little bump in the headliner, but I don't know. I'm not very inspired, and I was really expecting to be, I think. And again, it's not bad. None of this is bad, and it's all fine. I'm just giving you the real world walkthrough, right? Still do have a V8. Sounds good. I like that. This car definitely has a lot of high qualities and positive aspects to it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. You got your array of buttons. I mean, it's not all incredibly touchscreen based. There's good things here for sure. But I don't have as strong as an argument as I did before. I think that's what I'm realizing. All right, so let's take it for a drive. And this is I'm hoping, since I haven't driven this yet, this is where my opinion might change. Not sure. Comments about it driving like a truck, I don't see as a, to me that's not a valid complaint. I kind of like things that drive heavier and they don't try to pretend to be something they're not, which again, this is not a sports car, but again, it is a attractive package that doesn't exist anymore, right? It's a dinosaur in the sense that it's a small, shorter wheelbase, body-on-frame vehicle with a large V8 and four-wheel drive. It's a fun combination that's usually reserved for full-size trucks and is pretty much, you know, a dying breed of automotive category. And in that sense, it's why it's always been attractive to me. Whoa, there goes the camera. Because it was like the hot rod version, right? I think the 4Runner was like a small, lighter Land Cruiser with the almost exact same powertrain, and I liked that aspect of it, and it was a great car. And you know, this it drives nice. I can't really kind of complain about that portion of it, but real world, you're going to be getting 15 to 19 miles per gallon, which, you know, is fine, but if you're driving something newer, you'd think that would be a little bit better. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, acceleration, good. Got that kind of throaty V8 sound, snappy shifts. For some reason, doesn't really track straight, even though there's 10,000 miles on it. And you know, everything's right here. Everything is usable. Everything is at my reach. I just don't love the driving position. I think this would kind of wear. I've got longer legs. I think this would kind of wear on me a little bit long term. It doesn't give you that sense of you know, cruising. I guess you know, maybe this is just me. I don't know. But if I'm trying to sell this to somebody, I don't know if my arguments are that good anymore, and I can understand if someone gets in the new one, why they wouldn't probably buy the older one. So, and to kind of wrap this up, I've sounded pretty negative throughout this quick discussion, but it's only because this has been a topic that I've actually been thinking about. I'm not just making a video to make a video. It's just an odd coincidence that the vehicle actually showed up in my driveway. You know, I kind of consider this being the kind of last SUV that I would, if I had the money to spend it on for the family car. And I kind of met that hero in this kind of drive and walk around and realized that I think I'd rather have a Grenadier. I think that's where a lot of this comes down to, is that feels like $70,000 or $80,000 worth of new technology and features and build quality. This is just enough. Lexus just did enough to get this through the last model year of engineering and advancements to make it relevant. And I kind of like the try-hardness of the Grenadier and the fact that it is a little bit different. And maybe that's just my kind of changing opinion on what I want in a car. You know, this is really what most people need: simple, reliable, not complex. But you know, these things do have issues. They have torque converter issues, and you don't hear about because, you know, the Lexus takes care of them, and that's not a bad thing. But you know, there's a lot of new cars that do have a lot of new issues. They're just not vocalized because they're handled, right? They don't want to make those headlines. If the customers are happy, then, you know, then they're happy. And one last thing I wanted to show you was the rear cargo space. Now, it's not that much. I don't care what the cubic inches are. I think there's a third row or something back here. I'm sure if you pull that up, it swings out, pops up, whatever. And then you pretty much have no space. And again, I'm not saying it's more or less than the BMW that I have, but at least that gets better gas mileage. I'm not sure, but this is also very high top. I guess you could probably option that out with, and you don't have the third row, but it also eliminates a little bit of that cargo space. So, yeah. So, would I buy one? Well, sure. But probably wait for it to appreciate a little bit more. Wait for there's more of the new GX 550s out to kind of dilute the waters of, I think, the markups that these last editions had. There's nothing new or interesting in part of the tech that has been updated in the car, I think, to make it that much more or less desirable. It does ride and drive nice, but a little bit, you're not really getting all that much. You're just getting, you're getting old Lexus for new Lexus money, which is fine, but it doesn't feel like old Lexus as much as it should. I guess that's kind of the take on it. So yeah, let me know in the comments how much I insulted the rest of you Lexus Toyota guys. Have a good Christmas.